Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm gonna do my weekly reading update for February 28th, 2021. So, this was a long week. It was like the first week in like 3 weeks. I had to work all week due to, you know, medical things and snow that we had a couple weeks ago. So it was weird to have to work 5 days in a row, and it kind of sucked. Anyway, but I made it through. It was just the longest week ever. Anyway, so, but I did get a lot of reading done. I didn't do a whole lot else. I mean, I worked and then I came home and read. And that was kind of how that went. So not much. My house is suffering. But the point is, I'll get to it at some point. Maybe next month when I have an audiobook I need to get through. Which I'll get to. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I'm going to read in the next week, or what potentially will happen. Some of it I know, some is kind of up in there. We'll see what happens, as always. So, this week I actually finished a lot of things. I've fallen into this thing where a lot of people read multiple books at the same time, and I have not usually done that. I usually don't do that. I don't usually like to do that. But due to some of the projects I'm doing this year with some classics, I kind of have to. I don't want to read them all, straight through. I'm going to read them through the month or over a 2-month period. So I've had to split up my reading that way, and then I pick up other books, and just takes, as I said, I don't like that feeling of like so many books like going at the same time that I never finish anything, and then it's weird when I finish like a whole slew of them all at the same time. So of course this week I was trying to clear everything off that I had to and get caught up on what the read along I was in the middle of, so that I am ready for March. Because March I'm going to again tackle Mammoth, and I need to get myself ready for that, as well as a lot of other things I want to get to. So anyway, so let's just go through the books. This is going to be a long one. Sorry guys. So the first one I finished was Woman at Point Zero by Nawal El Sawadi. So this is translated from the Arabic by Sharaf Hatatat, and this was first published in 1973, and it is, again, a very short novel, but I read this for Invisible Cities, which for Egypt, again, I read her nonfiction that came out a few years after this called The Hidden Face of Eve, which was just super powerful. And in a lot of ways, this was the same. This was fictionalized, but it's talking about a time where, kind of as if she was, when she was going to prisons to talk to people, and definitely women, about certain issues. And so she went, so this has it where the psychologist is going to a prison, and then she gets to talk to a woman who is about to be executed for her crimes. And this was written very much like The Hidden Face of Eve, and it shows the problems in Egypt of how the patriarchy and how the women have no choices in certain things, and then no matter what they do, they don't get ahead, or they're looked at a certain way, or they're thought of a certain way for doing certain things, even though they've been kind of forced into those issues, or decisions were made for them. And it was just as it brings a lot of the stuff that was in her nonfiction into this little novel that she wrote beforehand. And it wasn't written really well. Like, I would not say this was a great piece of literature or anything like that, but I still think she wrote really strongly and very wanted to show how that you could see, even though like a lot of us have not gone the path that the prisoner for Haas went, you could see how from what she started with, and what choices she made, and other choices that she fell into, or things that happened to her, that you see kind of where it ended, why it was going to where it was ended. Although I didn't really buy the whole what happened in the end, as in her crimes. I guess when I got to that was the one crime. Yes, it was the second one I was like, or the second-ish kind of, well, the aftermath of it was just kind of like, why would you do that? Like, so I didn't quite buy it, but most everything else was just, it was so hard to read in a lot of ways. Again, I read this a little bit at a time, just because it was hard to read, and then up until the last third, and then I just blew through it one day after work because I just wanted to get it done, know what happened. And so I think it was very interesting. It's definitely, I enjoyed her nonfiction much more because there was more facts and basis and stuff. But this was still an interesting look at bringing some of those problems to light, but through fiction. So anyway, I read this for Invisible Cities for the Egypt. And so I'm glad I got at least, I didn't do very well this month on Invisible Cities, but I did get 2. Both of them were from Egypt and both of them were from Sudawi. So anyway, that's kind of how that went. And then I finished The Future Falls by Tanya Huff. This is the 3rd book in the the Enchantment Imperium series. So I read the first 2 books years ago, probably 2012 or 13. I don't remember. It was around that time, probably maybe 14 at the latest. I can't remember what year I picked those up. Anyway, this book wasn't out at the time. So again, this came out, I believe, in 2014, I think, in hardback, and then I got the paperback. So, or maybe it did come out the 14th. Maybe it just came out. Anyway, I don't remember. It was just, I got this in 2014 or 15. I don't remember, but I've had it on my shelf now for, almost, if not 6 years, just almost there. And I just never finished the series, and I don't really know why I stopped after the second one. The second one I really enjoyed. So it follows the Gale women who are pretty much kind of like, they're witches, but not witches like that. Like there's magic in the family, and it's a very weird family, and they have weird rules about who's in what power, and there's like certain power circles, and very weird. It's a very weird family dynamic. Let me just put it that way. The older women are called aunties when they get to a certain age and certain power structures. So that's kind of like their term for somebody who they have to, acknowledge as having power, kind of thing. And we deal with some of the younger generation who are fighting against some of the things that the aunties want done, even, they don't really agree with it. So the first 2 books were really good. We followed Allie in the first book and the Emporium, where she has to deal with a lot of stuff, and I really liked that book. The second book was fair. It was weird. It was following Charlie, which is who we're following in this book, who is kind of like a bard. She goes to rock concerts and she likes music, and so she was going to a concert in the other one where whole lots of stuff happened. Well, anyway, this one we're following her and Jack. Jack is a teenage dragon prince who is half Gale, so he is part of the overall family, but he's also part dragon. So again, we have from the Underrealms. Anyway, so there's a lot of good stuff in here. Okay, I'm not explaining this very well, and I'm just rambling because I don't know how to say this, but I hated a lot of the stuff in this book, but I still finished it. So it wasn't to the point of a DNF, but it was so close. There was so much angst in here due to the romantic situation in this book. I liked the way it came out. I liked how she dealt with that overall. I still think this is a weird book and a weird story, and the whole anything to do with romance in this book and the other books were all kind of weird. Like, it's a weird family and they do weird stuff, and I'm not really into it myself. So the point is, it's just the 3rd book was hard because it was angsty, and I was like, because I was at first going, ew, like the whole no, not those, like that doesn't make any sense. In the end, she made it work in a way that it wasn't so ew. But the point is just, it was hard to get through that. The rest of the part where the end of the world is, sorry, as I throw the book, as the end of the world is coming an asteroid. So it's them trying to fight what they're going to do. And I really liked all that urban fantasy part of it. I liked the things that happened with that. It was kind of a little meandering in the middle. I think it was too long, and it didn't go, like, again, it didn't go where I wanted it to go when I first started the book. Anyway, point is, this was kind of a disappointment, but the series is over. I'm done. And yeah, I'm not keeping the books, but at least I got it done. Anyway, so then I finished on audio Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, An Easy and Proven Way to Build Good Habits and Break Bad Ones by James Clear. So I had the audiobook from my library, and it finally came in. I've been waiting a couple months for it. And then it just popped up and I'm like, oh, I better listen to it before the end of the month. So James Clear narrates his own book, so that was cool. He did a pretty good job on that. I really enjoyed this. Actually, it was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this more than some of the other habit books I've read. For some reason, his was a very clear and direct way of talking about how we create habits and how we have habits that are easy for us to do, and then it's hard to break them unless we make them easy in some way, like try to put ourselves in the right direction by doing certain little things. And I thought he had really good examples and a lot of good things. I just decided to buy a physical copy because I want to go back through this now that I've given back the audiobook from the library. But there was a few things that I really wanted to look at for doing my own first habits that I would like to restart or, get myself back into. And I liked the way he talked about them and some of the things he made me think about on how to do those things. So I thought it was a really good book if you're looking for a really easy book. Now you have to understand he does borrow from like everybody. He's very honest about the fact that he pulled this from this book and this from that person and their techniques. And he uses all of them to kind of combine to make it his easy way of doing it. And I think he did a really good job, even though, yes, he does acknowledge he is taking or, using what other people have done before him. So I thought that was still really good, but I liked the way he presented it and I liked the way it was structured in this book. So anyway, I had to get a copy of it, so I will go back through it so I can work on my own my own habits. So anyway, I would recommend that one if you're looking for that kind of thing. And then I had a library book out, The Magnificent Migration on Safari with Africa's Last Great Herds by Cy Montgomery. I didn't know that this had come out, and again, I'm trying to watch for when her books come out because I really like Cy Montgomery. She's the one who wrote Soul of an Octopus, and I've read two other books. So I was like, oh, I didn't know about this one. So this is, I don't know, it's kind of listed as, it's a picture book, but it's like, it still has a lot of text. Like, it's like a lot of text. It still took me quite a while to read it. But the pictures are just awesome. So we're following her when she goes on safari with some other scientists to East Africa to watch the wildebeest migration. And that was really fascinating. It's definitely something I knew about, but I didn't know a whole ton about it. And it was really interesting how she talks about those creatures and things that are happening in the area as a human activity to it, to how it affects the migration, and how the migration does not follow the same route every year, and it depends on a lot of different factors and stuff. I found this very interesting and very, I got a lot out of it, actually. And there are some really beautiful pictures in there. The end pages. I really liked this. It went a kind of, it went, it showed, it was her safari, so it didn't actually go the way that she wanted it to in a lot of ways, but I thought it was really interesting, that they did still get to do a lot of the stuff they wanted to, but it may not have happened the way that they thought it would, kind of thing. So I don't know, I thought it was really good for a little short book, and I did enjoy it. It was really pretty, and I'm glad and as I said, I follow Cy Montgomery on Twitter and stuff, so I must have missed this. I don't know how I did that, but I wanted to read it, so I did, and I learned quite a bit, so that was pretty cool. So I liked it. Yesterday, so I finished Atomic Habits, I think on Thursday, that audiobook. So I picked up another audiobook because I had a couple more days, and I'm trying to get myself back in the habit of audiobooks because next month I'll be doing a really big one. But I forgot that on Audible Plus, they had a free, one of the ones that you could have, for that Audible Plus thing free, was the 39 Steps by John Buchan. And I forgot that was there. And I was like, oh, hey, that was going to be on my March Mystery Madness TBR. And it is, so I was like, well, I'll just start it. Cause then, it was like 5.5 hours or something. Yeah, well, I finished it yesterday. It was actually pretty good. I would not say that this was a great book or anything, but this was published in 1915, and it is definitely an adventure story. It is following John, how does he say his name? Hannay, something like that. And it's he gets just mixed up and stuff. It's one of those things where it's definitely one of those almost spy thrillers, but very light on the espionage. It's more, he just falls into it kind of thing. And so it's very adventurous. He has to go on the run because they think he's a killer, and he's out to, you know, help Britain or England not get into a war. And of course this was published, you know, after the World War I had started, but I meant he wrote it as it's supposed to be right before that kind of thing. And it was really interesting, that part of the history part of how he did this. Really, it was just a fun read. I didn't know where it was going to go or how it was going to connect. I think it was very classic in a golden age mystery in the way how he revealed things in the end. I think that was very, very much that time period of how they did it. But it was really interesting. It was just so weird, his journey, and I learned, you know, he was all over the countryside. It was really kind of cool. I didn't like love this or anything, but I'm glad I read it. And again, the audiobook was really good. It was, I think it was Tim Power, and it was pretty good. And again, I got it. If you have Audible Plus, I think it's one of the ones you can just get right now. Anyway, so I read it a little earlier than March Mystery Madness. I definitely was a mystery in here, so it's like I would still count this for that. But it's definitely an adventure story. I know that there are others, but I'm probably not going to pick up any more. But I'm really glad that I did pick this up and actually now know about this one, because this is one of those earlier, you know, 20th century mysteries that I'd heard about, but I hadn't read. So I'm really glad I read that. And I got that done. That was unexpected. That was not on the list of getting stuff done that I planned to. And then yesterday afternoon, I finally finished A Gentleman in Moscow by Immortals. So I've been working on this for like 14 days. It took me almost, well, no, I think it was like 13 days. It took me almost 2 weeks to read this book. And again, it's 460 pages, but it was just a book I could not read more than 35 pages at a time. It was, I think it actually was good in that way. It was really nice to read just a little bit of it, and then I set it down, and it was because this is like following the life of a man who is considered a former person, because he was a count, and then after the Russian Revolution, he then, you know, loses that, but he's under house arrest at a hotel in Moscow. And so it follows his life for over 30 years in this hotel. And I really liked the way when we did do jumps, it kind of made sense. Like, you know, there were some really big jumps and there were some little ones, and I did like that. I think it spanned the time pretty well considering how long he was there. I liked the cast of characters, the people who worked at the hotel that he knew, or people who came to the hotel that he knew or got to know. You know, so I liked most of the people in this. Again, there's people you're not gonna like. You're not supposed to like them. I really liked is it Rostov or the Count? He was just, I really liked him as a character. Seeing his progression through the book, and the people that he again are really close to. I really liked that. So overall, I really enjoyed this book, and it's very atmospheric for being trapped in one area. I think he does really well on that. That's Cooper. Let's see, the criticism, the reason why this is just not a 5 for me, because again, it didn't engage me to the point where I wanted to read this all the time. I set this down every day after 35 pages. So, I mean, until yesterday. I think yesterday was the biggest chunk I read, which was 130, because I wanted to get this done. But the end was good to do that because of all the things that happened in the end. And I did guess where this was going probably about midpoint. I kind of went, I wonder, yeah, I kind of think that's something's gonna happen, and that's gonna happen, kind of thing. And it came out better than I imagined how he did it, but I liked the way it went, and I guessed it, but I also liked the way he did it, like revealed it. I think he still did a good job on that. So even if I kind of knew it was gonna happen. Yes, Love Bug. He's just rubbing on me here. So anyway, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I finally read this. I've had this on my bookshelf for 2 years, and I bought this from Book Depository so I'd have a paperback earlier than waiting for the paperback here, but I still never got to it. But I'm really glad. This has been on my TBR shelf that's out in my living room. The bookshelves there, like the whole time for me to read this, and I'm just so glad I finally picked it up and read it. I didn't expect to read it this month, but it happened. But you know, so I'm glad we did. I got through that, and I really enjoyed it. So I do recommend that one if you like historical fiction. Did I mention? Yeah. So it's like 1922 to 1954, I believe. So yeah, so it's a pretty good span for the story. I think I really enjoyed it, and even though I read it much differently than I normally do. So books that I'm currently reading. I am halfway through Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. This is the second book in the Chronicles of Barchester. I'm in a read-along this year to read all these books, and again, this was the first book, and the book that I had started back in 2019 but had not completed. So I'm definitely way past where I had been. I'm halfway through the book, and we're gonna have our check-in today. So and then I have to read another fourth of the book by the 15th, and then by the end of the month. So we're on the way. I'm gonna get this done this month. So I'm really enjoying this. It's really going, like, I guess I didn't know what kind of directions this was going to go from the first chunk. I was like thinking it was going to do all this other stuff, and it has gone so in another direction, but it still has to do with a lot with kind of the church politics, because a new bishop has come in and everybody is reacting in different ways. And then now we're kind of in the middle where people are trying to vie for power with the bishop or to have things done their way. And it's just, there are characters in here you just, like, I detest one character, like, I don't think anybody is surprised by that one, but the other ones are like, it's just, they're so fascinating. They're just, he makes them so real. I think that's the best part about this, is he makes them all so flawed and different. Like you're like, why don't you realize that? But that's their flaw. They don't realize that that's a problem, or that they don't see that. And it's so interesting how he does it. And so I really like his realism. As much as I'm not hugely into church politics or anything in this time, for this kind of thing, but I'm really enjoying this. So I said, I'm halfway done. So I'm just about 300 pages. So I'm gonna continue on, and as I said, I'm gonna read a chapter a day for most of March. I think I have 14 chapters to read in 15 days in the first section, and then I think I have only 12 chapters left to read for the last 16 days in the month. So I might get this done early. Well, we'll see, but at least it gives me a couple of days where I don't have to read this, because there are certain days, like Wednesdays, when I have to go to bed early because I have to get up early for a meeting. I don't read as much on Wednesday nights. I just don't. And this is usually what falls out of this rotation. So at least I have a couple where I can miss and I don't have to try to catch up. Anyway, and then yesterday, so I had finished A Gentleman in Moscow, and I'm like, okay, it's Saturday afternoon. I was close to almost dinner time. And I'm like, I have tonight and tomorrow what do I going to read before March? Because March is when we start March of the Mammoths and March Mystery Madness. And I kind of was like unsure what I should pick up. So I decided to pick up a book that's technically a reread, but it was on my March Mystery Madness TBR last year that I did not finish. And again, I decided to pick up 9 Coaches Waiting by Mary Stewart, because I want to finish my reread of this. And again, this is one of the rereads. I don't remember a thing about it so far. Like, I've read now almost 300 pages. I still don't remember anything about this from the first time I read it when I was a teenager. So I know I read it. It obviously didn't connect with me because I don't remember anything about it. But we'll see. But in the end, like a couple of them, I've gotten to the end and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one. But I don't remember anything else. Anyway, so this one follows a woman who becomes a governess in France, and she is very protective of her charge, Philippe, who is heir to a very big winery, and so he's pretty young. I don't know. I don't remember how old he is right now off the top of my head. I don't know. It's just not clicking. I think he's under 10. Anyway, I can't remember it right now. I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, I just restarted back where I had stopped last year in March because of lockdown, I just stopped reading books that I didn't want to deal with. I put this one aside and I've never gotten back to it. So I just want to finish this off so I can continue my reread. Again, this was published in, I think it was in 57. Yeah. Or 1958. Anyway, so 1958. So, again, it's kind of romance, suspense. So someone's out to kill a little boy, and so and so, like, right now where everybody, Cat, get off my computer. Oh my gosh. He is, like, stepping on my computer and lighting up. Come here, come on. Truman. Get off my computer. Oh my God. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get to this, finish this off today. I have 160 pages, but so if I don't, I don't. It's really fast reading. The pages are pretty, this is not my first copy. This is actually I bought all these ones in this edition to replace the one, not replace, but to read rather than the really old ones that I have that are mostly from the 70s that were, that I got from my mom and my grandmothers, because they all read Mary Stewart. So I got all the extra copies, and they're all pretty trashed. So I bought really these all pretty new ones for the Hodar, I think, and I just love them. But anyway, so they look a lot bigger than the copies I have. But anyway, now I got distracted. Truman got me all distracted. Coopers are here being sweet on me, and Truman. Anyway, and you couldn't even see it because he was. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, so this is kind of in the middle of the mystery, as I said, where things are starting to come together. I'm still, as I said, still 160 pages from the end. So I'm hoping to get this done. It's a little early for March Mystery Madness, but this is a carryover from last March Mystery Madness and a reread. So I figured that's not a big deal. So I figured I would just read that today. So yes, last night and today. So we'll see. So then we're going to talk about what's going to happen next week, and we'll try to go through this pretty quickly because I'm already pretty long again. Recently my videos have gotten pretty long. Sorry guys, but I've been reading a lot of stuff. So March of the Mammoths starts on March 1st, and I am participating with The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. So this version is translated by Robin Buss. I have it all tabbed out for me. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, anyway, so I have it tabbed out for 40 pages a day. That is my goal. I want to get done within the month. The group that I'm reading this with, which Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats is putting on over on Voxer, I don't think everybody's going to read it as fast as I am. I think a lot of them are going to read it smaller and read it over like a 2-month period, or maybe not as much as that, but not going to read as much. But I am determined to get through this in the month of March. I have too many other big books I want to get to this year, and I also feel that because I love Three Musketeers and other writings by Dumas, I think I'm going to want to read more than 20 or 30 pages a day. I think 40 is going to be perfect. I think at least I'm going to try that, and we'll see what happens in the first week. We'll know in the first week how I'm doing, if that's going to work. But I'm really going to try to, as I said, well, I'm first always read my chapter in Barchester Towers to get that done, and then I'll read 40 pages in this before I can read something else. So this is, again, a revenge tale about, how is it set? Is it Edmund, is it Dante's or down something like that? I don't know how it's said, but he, as I said, he is falsely imprisoned for something he didn't do, and then again he has his revenge, and I guess it's just epic. And again, so many people have read this or are reading this, and I've been wanting to read this forever, and I just put it off due to I was trying to get through the D'Artagnan romances first, but I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, no, I need to read this now. And since other people were reading, I thought, well, I'll join in on that. So anyway, so again, it's about what did I say? It was like 1240 something, 1243. So just under 1250. That's a lot of pages. Anyway, so the point is that this is going to be my main focus for the month, again, for March of the Mammoths. But I'm going to read a lot of other stuff around it. So anyway, the audiobook is going to be the other big thing is Red Comet by the Short Life and Blazing Art by Sylvia Plath by Heather Clark. This is, oh, my little sticky note came on. I can't remember the audiobook author. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put that on here. I just went out of my head again. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so I had started the audiobook. I got several hours into it. I got 92 pages in of 935, I think. Not counting notes. I don't count notes on any of these. So, yeah, 937. So, yeah, so I've read 92 pages, so I'm not, as I said, I'm not very far. And that's where I stopped in end of November after Nonfiction November was over, and I stopped listening to this audiobook, and I was listening to a lot of other ones. So I want to come back, and this is going to be my audiobook for the month. I still have like 40 hours on the audiobook. Again, I do listen to it at 1.5 speed. So this will probably be in my car most of the time, or chores around the house. So my hope is to get close to 100 hours. 100 hours, Amy. Oh my God. Sorry. 100, an hour's worth of audiobook a day. We'll see. Because again, my commute will get me about 30 to 40 minutes. It matters what time of day and how long, like coming home always takes longer. It just depends. Anyway, so I might still sit and read a little bit, listen to it a little bit when I first get home to get my hour in every day. But that's my hope, because I want to get this done fairly soon in the month, because I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I get it done. So we're going to try. So it's her biography. I'm really looking forward to that. And then, hold on a second. And then I didn't bring it in here. Sorry. I am still reading a memory. Did I even talk about that before? I just realized I didn't bring in my iPad, but I am reading A Memory of Empire by Arcady Martin. So that's sci-fi about a woman who is coming from a small station, and she's the ambassador, and she's coming to find out why they have asked for a new ambassador after like 20 some years. And it turns out her predecessor has been killed. So it's her figuring out, the world and the capital where she's at. And I'm about 90 some pages in. So I'm about 20%, I think, almost. So again, I'm reading that ebook at work. I'm trying to get through my ebooks this year, much more than I have. I keep buying ebooks, but I don't read them. And so I had to make it where I had to find a way to do it. And the only way I can find is that if I don't take books with me, physical books to work with me, then I have to read my ebook. So I think that's working out. So I figure that ebook's going to probably take me a couple weeks to read, unless I finally get to a point near the end of it and then I just want to finish it. It is a duology. The second book I think is coming out in March or April. So if I get it done and I really enjoyed it, then I will probably try to get the sequel from the library or something. But right now I'm just trying to get that. Sorry, so I don't have the picture. Sorry. I'm reading too many books at a time and I forget. So anyway, that's that. And then March Mystery Madness is happening. So I'm hoping to pick up one of these books for March Mystery Madness, or my one pick for Invisible Cities for Mexico. But really, one of these books I'll probably pick. I'm thinking about doing a try a chapter tag with some of these today to see which one I pick first. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. So anyway, but it could be any one of these. We'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm going to pick up. As I said. I'm going to try to get through 9 Coaches Waiting, and then tomorrow, probably after I get through my chapters that I need for my big books and my read-alongs, and then I will see what I feel like reading. I don't know. I might not be reading a lot at night on any of these. We'll see. It just depends, because, again, right now I already have 4 books that I'll be reading every day. I mean, at least during the work week when I have my ebook. And then I want to try to slip in another one. So we'll see what happens. I'm really not sure how this whole multiple book thing is going to go for a whole month. I'm not sure how I'll last. So last thing I want to do real quick is my board for February. So this will be almost complete. Again, it's the only thing today. the only thing that I could actually do is do another reread down here at the bottom. So I'm just not going to worry about that. But everything else I'll do that I finished this week. So I finished a series. Yay. I finished an Invisible Cities translated work. I finished a nonfiction. I finished a historical fiction. I didn't DNF it. And I think that's it. So, yeah, that's it. So, it's pretty good. I mean, again, I didn't get any classics completed this month. That kind of sucks. I didn't get any big books done. So all the books that I've completed were over 400 pages. Well, a lot of them were short books. I read a lot of short books this month as well. But all the other books that were like 400 and something, nothing got above 500. So next month though, because of March of the Mammoths, I should be checking off quite a few of these, or at least a couple over the 700. So we'll see how that goes. And I didn't get to any 5-star predictions. So as I said, this is for this month. Again, as I said, the only thing that could change is I might get another reread done if I finish 9 Coaches Waiting today. But anyway, so next week I'll probably have this erased and ready for March, even though I probably won't have anything done. We'll see what I feel like. I might wait. I don't know. So anyway, that is all the books and all the things. Again, another long video. Sorry guys, but again, reading multiple books does that, I think. And I want to get through March and to get out of this like situation of so many books. But just March is going to have to be like this if I want to get all these things done. But again, it could change. I might change my mind and just go, nope, I have to read this straight, or this one straight, or I can't do all these at the same time. It might come to that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of skeptical on my own holding to that, or I'm not sure I can do it. So I mean, my February turned out to go that way, and I did fairly well, although it still feels weird. I finished so many books this last week trying to finish them off. I had so many on the go. So anyway, we'll see what happens. So anyway, what are you guys reading right now? Anything good? Do you do that too, where you try to clear off everything at the end of the month before you go into the next month? Are you doing March Mystery Madness? Are you doing, no. Yeah, March Mystery Madness. Are you doing March of the Mammoths? Or I know there's like a million other read-alongs. Oh, I didn't know about the like March of the Moderns until too late. And there was another one that, it was so many. And I'm like, I can't do it all. Oh, the Translatathon I think is going on too. But I'm reading a translated work during that period with the Count of Monte Cristo, but I just can't do it all. I just can't do it all. March is a hard month here on BookTube because there's just so many choices. So anyway, let me know what you guys are doing, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.